Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to be talking about Chinnamasta, and now I did make a video previously and so I apologize about the delay, but I decided not to post it. Having Chinnamasta be the deity that deals with selflessness and having selfless thoughts, I was going to make a video talking about the state of Israel and everything going on with the Epstein files and how that's impacting America, especially having Chinnamasta be one of the Mahavidyas of Kali, who is the divine mother. Everything there on those Epstein files dealing with children and all that, there was a certain anger that arose within me, but instead I thought it's smarter to hold off on that video for now and instead do a video about Chinnamasta and explaining Chinnamasta, who she is and her attributes and my experience so far with her. Okay, now to begin with Chinnamasta, her attributes, she is mostly iconic for being the deity that is headless and she has blood pouring out, and there are two other figures that are in there as well, her followers that are basically drinking the blood. So this I'm not going to use that word, but the the displaying of this imagery can kind of come off as unsettling, but the reason why she is in this headless form is because that blood represents knowledge. That is, once the Kundalini has risen to a certain point, that is up to the third eye, which she deals with, the third eye. Basically, your Kundalini is operating then out at the throat chakra point. Throat chakra is here, and so basically she's the one that wakens up your third eye and basically shuts off your mind. That way your speech and your communication basically is becoming selfless, right? Like your third chakra is balanced, so you have the truth, and now it's your tongue to basically impart that knowledge, and so that's why she's like that. For instance, like if one were to gain all the knowledge in the world and all the knowledge in the universe, they could use that knowledge for good, they could use that knowledge for evil. So Chinnamasta is a deity that is very important for anyone to worship before reaching enlightenment, to make sure that when they are sharing the knowledge with others, they're doing it selflessly, and when they are using the knowledge as well in their day-to-day life, they're applying that in a selfless manner. Because it feels like it could go many different ways. People could gain knowledge that is occult and use it for personal gain instead of using it for others. That's why the blood is flowing into her followers. Okay. Now I'm going to talk a bit more about my experience so far with Chinnamasta sadhana. One of the big things is, so Chinnamasta awakens the third eye, and she also can help you deal with both, previous discomforts in life, previous traumas in life, as well as any sort of like mental disorder. Because since she is in the third eye, and before this I had done Kartikeya sadhana, which is the Shiva tattva in the third eye, and Chinnamasta is the Shakti tattva in the third eye. That in a sense basically removes all sort of mental illness, because at the end of the day, all mental illness is a chain of thoughts, and if you're able to completely master your mind and master the thoughts, then you're able to overcome mental illness. And I know what I'm saying too is, I know that mental illness, a lot of times we say the mental illness is within the mind, but then we don't find any actual abnormalities in the mind, or we don't find anything out of the ordinary. So a lot of the times these so-called mental health conditions are really to deal more like with the spiritual body and the energy that way as well. And so in my own personal experience, like I'd explained previously on this channel, I had, in the beginning of the sadhana, had learned a past life, and I was dealing with that for quite some time. And once I began this sadhana, since Chinnamasta deals with egolessness as well, the idea, the whole sense of me being Brandon, or my past life being my past life, basically kind of fell away. I just realized that what is true is me being the one who is witnessing this experience, and me being the watcher of this experience. So it's both untrue that I am Brandon or that I am this past life. I'm more so, right, the unchanging this present moment, because right after this incarnation I will still be around my presence and my existence, which goes beyond just this one character and the characters before. And so basically when you are in the present moment, you don't have thoughts going on through your mind. There's no such thing as mental illness. A lot of times mental illness is a barrier that we create for ourselves, or that is basically pushed upon us by society. Hence why I said in the beginning of this video I was going to make another video talking about Israel, on the sense of being selfless and being selfless with the knowledge, because at the end of the day it seems like a lot of the major traumas that are going on right now in the world have been centered in the Middle East, that have been caused by the creation of the State of Israel. Before the creation of the State of Israel, there was not nearly as much conflict in the Middle East, and there were no terrorist organizations that hated the United States. And I feel like this is selfless knowledge to share as well, because when you enter the realm of politics, things become very heated. People will start to, become upset because of the things you're saying, because they have a lot of money donated towards their candidates. But that's kind of something I also really wanted to talk about in this video as well. This is why on my channel I have it split, where some videos I'm talking about spirituality and some videos I'm talking about politics. At the end of the day, everything is spiritual. So especially when it comes to maybe not politics, but people have really broadened the term politics to encompass all global events, even though I wouldn't say war is something that's political. It's just humanitarian. Being against senseless killing is just humanitarian. No need needs to be deemed political. And so when it comes to all these events that are happening, everybody is spiritual. So when somebody is being affected on the other side of the globe, that is a spiritual event, because it happens to deal with humanity, and humans are spirit. So especially when there's calamities happening on the other side of the world, we can, at the end of the day, feel that within the collective consciousness. At the end of the day, we're just consuming all this media, and it's affecting us one way or another. And so if I want to be someone who wants to stand up and say enough is enough, I will do that. One thing I would also like to add at the end of this video is, when it comes to the whole new age community, I think that is kind of a problem, where we've set up barriers thinking that politics and these other things are not spiritual. You don't see a lot of spiritual people also talking about politics. But no, they definitely go together, because politics directly affects what? People. People are spiritual. So we need to have spiritual minds behind politics as well. And that's why I'll continue to combine the two topics, and don't see any shame in that. That is all for today's video. Without further ado, Jai Mahakal.